I can't even begin to describe to you how sick and tired I am of everything being stated in the most hyperbolic terms imaginable.
From the X account, U.S. Homeland Security News. Alert: Kuwait declares war on Iran and today launches its first offensive, a ground of ballistic missiles against Iranian targets. This is now a world war.
I just called out the other day how juvenile it is to constantly use the word fascism or words like dictator or despot or any of the other terms that they use, in a hyperbolic manner to try and shame and silence people that they disagree with. The left we're talking about, of course. And I had somebody respond in the comments talking about, well, it's not juvenile if it's true. The only problem is it's not true. My question is, are you being this consistently hyperbolic, this consistently dramatic because you're actually dumb enough to believe the stuff that you're saying? Or is this an intentional fear-mongering tactic? Like, is this stupidity or propaganda? That's what I wonder. Because this is not World War III. I don't think people really comprehend what the World Wars 1 and 2 actually resulted in. I don't think they have even the slightest bit of comprehension how much destruction was wrought on nations all across Europe. They cry about Gaza. They say, oh, look at Gaza, it's been leveled. The United States did the same thing to Dresden. No nuke. We firebombed that city until it was nothing. This is just war. This is just regular war in one small nation. But people are so disconnected from the brutality of the reality of real warfare that they think that there's actually all these rules that the United Nations dreamt up after the Second World War. And the fact of the matter is, those rules only matter as long as the people making those rules are strong enough to implement them. The only rule in war is to win and survive and destroy your enemy. Those are the rules of war. All this other stuff, Geneva Convention, all of that is a dream that we cling to. This idea that somehow we're so much more evolved than our ancestors, when the fact of the matter is that all the things that our ancestors once did to one another or their own people, it all is taking place today in the world, in nations across the globe. I can't help but wonder why this is a world war, because Kuwait has decided to enter the fray and launch some missiles at Iran. But the global war on terror under Bush and Obama wasn't a world war. We're talking about one nation jumping in here today, and they're saying it's World War III. But 20 nations sent 16,000 troops to support the United States military in the global war on terror. 69 in total sent support of some kind. Ultimately, there were between like 130 and 170 nations that were involved in some capacity throughout the 20 years we were over there. Not to mention, Obama expanded, the war strikes, whatever you want to call them, into 7 nations from 2. So we had 20 nations invading, bombing, killing, and 7 nations across the Middle East. That's not a world war, no, because we couldn't have a world war under Obama. But one single nation being attacked by a handful of nations, that's World War III. Come on.